I'm Josh. This is Mikayla. I'm 31 years old. Mikayla's 27 years old. We're from Travelling Campers is our brand, so we've been travelling full time for nearly 2 years now. So cool. So we want to talk to you guys. Again, one of the biggest questions we sort of get is like a lot of people wanting to travel for weeks at a time, months at a time, full-time travel, sell house, not house, all that sort of stuff. So we've been through that. So it's we've had our experience. So as we sort of want to share a little bit about our story, which sort of started in 2017 is when we first bought our first four-wheel drive. We got a Holden Colorado. That sort of come from. We had an SSU before that, and we thought, well, cool, going to Robe the beach port where everyone goes down to the beach and sits there and watches it, and we drove on the hard sand and thought, well, cool.
We got completely bogged
and then,
in SSU. It was very embarrassing.
So, yeah, very, very, very rookie mistake. And then from that, we're just like, I think we want to start doing this full driving thing. And, I was racing motorbikes and all that sort of stuff. So that's sort of what gave us a bit of a spark to buy a full drive. And
it was hard for you to let go of the V8.
It was.
Initially.
It was. So, we ended up going on the Monday, trading the car in. We bought a Holden Colorado. So that was our first full drive. And that sort of sparked us. Like, we're like everyone else, watching full drive action, all for adventure, all that sort of stuff on the couch. And always watching the Cape York videos. That was a very hot spot of where most people want to go. And we're just sitting there. And we're just like, how cool to be to go. And it's like, why don't we go? Like, let's.
And I was like, are you crazy? Like, we can't do that. Like,
yeah,
it's impossible. But
like, let's just do it. Because we had this a camper trailer behind the SSU. Then we had your mum and dad's camper trailer. And then my brother ended up buying a 2012 Lotus Sprint Caravan. And then we kind of thought, we were kind of a little bit younger. And we were kind of like, he's old. Like, what are you doing? That's what old people do. Like,
young, and we were like, caravanning, like, that's for old people.
We were so kind of like didn't have an outlook like that at all. Yeah. But that's sort of how that sort of sparked. And look, we just like, all right, 12 months time, like, let's just save, let's just make it happen. I said, going to work on Monday, and like, if you can get 3 months off work next year, we're going. And then the Tuesday, Wednesday, she come home, and she's like, they approved it.
My boss signed it, and we were good to go. So for the next 12 months, we just saved our little butts off and went without so many things, but it made it so worth it in the end. Yeah,
I was racing motorbikes professionally, so we sort of gave that up and did some things, and we had about 15, 20 grand. That was sort of the money we sort of calculated roughly we need, and that sort of worked out to be a good number of what we needed. So we started off and started our trip to Cape York. Got up to Cape York, amazing. We ended up flooding the car and wrote the car off in Cairns. So me and Mikayla got engaged up in Cape York as well. So
but then we had no car.
Yeah, so it was very high moments, to very low moments. Yeah. So typical to see if you're ready to get married, even though we're not married yet, but we're still testing each other out. But that was the car got written off up in Cairns, and then we ended up having to. Our little brokies calling our parents trying to borrow a little bit of money, and that we ended up being a Y62 Patrol at the shop up there, sort of ready to go, and that's how we're able to that was our next car we're sort of wanting to do.
It was our dream car that we just really wanted, and we were really striving to get after our Cape York trip.
Yeah, and this footage you just saw right there, that's where we got engaged right there actually, and that's 3 years later after our first trip back up there in the Patrol and travelling around in Cape York. Full time, which at that time, our first holiday, we never thought that we didn't even know we wanted to travel full time, but we just we wanted to do a short trip, and then on the way home, we're just like, we want to do this. Like we want
more.
We're just planning the next trip, like what are we going to do next? And that was sort of where it was. So we had a 2012 semi-off-road Caravan we took up there, which was a Lotus Sprint. That was mum and dad's Caravan, and that's just sort of what really we just loved. We got a Lotus now, and that's sort of what made us we took it up there, flogged the hell out of it, and we had no drums, but that's how we really, on the way home, we started seeing all the different vans and the new ones, and loved the look of it and all that. So yeah, that's when we sort of started creating a bit of a page, sharing our travels, because that's what most people sort of do. Like, well, we do a bit of cool stuff, so we just made a page from scratch and started sharing things, and that's sort of how that sort of transition happened there. And then that just once we had the car, we just started saving, planning more trips, and then we wanted to get our own Caravan instead of borrowing mummy and daddy's and taking their undies out of the drawer and putting ours in there. We sort of got sick of doing that, so we wanted our stuff in there. And we saved our asses off and ended up being able to get our first Caravan, which was a 17.6 Freelander.
Lotus.
Which was awesome. And then a big thing for us, we sort of we were planning a 6-month trip. That was going to be our next sort of big trip. And then, COVID and all the sort of crazy stuff in the world happened, and that's just what really got us in a different mindset, different sort of outlook on everything, our life, our jobs, our just everything. We ended up sort of starting a bit of an online business and just sort of started putting things in place to be able to be a bit more free and be able to travel more and see other people doing it and sort of seeing how they were doing it. And that's sort of how we just started putting things in place. And then kind of a year later, I think. Yeah, a year later, we're able to get Mikayla out of work by making an income online and some stuff. And then I was a remedial massage therapist. Used to work for Australia Post before that. So average ass people sitting on the couch watching four drive videos like we all do.
I was running a daycare centre and...
and we just sort of wanted more. And then we just sort of impulse we're just like, let's just do this. So we end up putting we were going to rent the house out, and we ended up putting the house up for sale. Just felt right for us to do that. We do get a lot of people message us a lot of time. It's like, hey, should I sell my house or should I rent it? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not responsible for that decision, but I think it's a really personal thing of, obviously a lot of people thought we were crazy, never go back into the market, all this sort of stuff. But for us, it just felt right. It's just something we had to do. When we left the driveway, I'm like, if all this, if we end up broke and being those weird permanent residents at a caravan park, like that's us, that's our story, and I don't really care.
Yeah,
so
it's just something that we had to do.
Yeah, and we headed off, sold the house, everything, headed up the centre of Australia, Gibb River Road, all that sort of stuff. And then, we come back to Mildura Mildura was our hometown, Mildura, top of Victoria, and sort of come back. And then things were, a year later, our lives were just totally different.
So different.
Everything was going amazingly. And then, we turned into a full-time travel. So our next van, we got it shipped over to Perth, was a 19.6-foot Lotus Trooper. So sort of wanted to make that a bit more of the luxuries of a
little bit more room as well.
Yeah, of a house. So bigger battery system, a bit more water, just all the comforts so we can be anywhere off-grid and still have internet, aircon, all that sort of stuff. We work online.
We also travel with our golden retriever, so...
Yeah, she's actually in the crowd up the back there.
Up the back there.
Sitting down with our parents.
Baby.
So travel full-time with the dog. That's another popular one if people want whether to take their dog or not. All that sort of stuff. But this year we're going to be 2 years full-time travel, so that's sort of a bit of about our story of sort of where we started and, where it sort of is now. And look, one of those things is, you start sharing your stuff online, building a bit of a brand, and, it's like most people you see here, they all start small and as a brand and, get like-minded people following you along, all that sort of stuff, and then create some sort of pretty cool opportunities, like stand up on stage here today to be able to present to you guys.
Telling you our story.
Yeah, it was actually one of these shows about 4 years ago where we won a set of X-ray vision lights from the Patriot Campers Guide to put on our...
Drive show.
Yeah, the four-wheel drive show.
Melbourne Showgrounds.
Right in this state, in this area here. So that's sort of where we, our first sort of...
How it all started.
How it all sort of...
sparked it all.
Yeah, so I guess the biggest thing out of this is just, by just wanting to... You just need to make the plans, make the dates. Don't sort of go from selling everything to traveling full time if you haven't even done a 1, 2 month, 3 month trip. Like that's my biggest advice is...
Definitely test the waters.
Yeah, like book in some 2-week holidays, but more frequently. But the biggest thing is the more you hold off, the more just things come up and you keep putting it off and money and all this sort of stuff. So you sort of make it a priority and get out. And there's so much amazing things to see out there in Australia.
Absolutely.
We've got everything here. So it's absolute wild. But we want to open up to you guys if there's any questions. Who's got some sort of travel plans this year for a weekend, a week, month? Where are you going, mate? You should listen down. We've been covering that. We've been nearly full time 2 years.
How long have we been on tour for?
Yeah. How long have we been traveling? Yeah, 2 years. So on and off 4 to 5 years probably. Yeah, no home base. Our parents still live back in Mildura, so we always come back for Christmas every year and visit family and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, Mildura is still our base, but we don't have our own house or shed anymore. So
pull up in the parents' yards.
Yeah.
Front yards.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah, how do we make money? Yeah, there's plenty of ways out there. So we've got a direct sales business that we run. We started that nearly 3 years ago. So we got a product we sell. It's got nothing to do with four-drive stuff. It's sort of separate on the side. I was a remedial massage therapist, so we sort of started doing it through that. But we got a product we sell. There's plenty of ways out there to make money now, like this.
And everybody's looking for work as well.
Yeah, but you always got to have a product or a service to sell. There's always got to be something there to sell to make money. So again, people do the whole discount code thing, all that sort of stuff. You know, it's the money you can make off YouTube and all that sort of stuff. And it's just something you got to start, commit, you know, not think it's all going to happen overnight. No matter what you do, it takes years to be able to make it a, you know, sustainable full-time income. But there is so many different ways out there now with the internet. It's mega powerful.
Finding what works for you as well.
Yeah, but in saying that, if you're open to things, like when we're checking into caravan parks in WA, they're like, hey, do you want to start work this afternoon? I'm like, what? Or like people on farms, if you're open to do stuff, like there's plenty of cash work, like a couple of weeks, there's a lot of things you can do to make it happen, to make some money while you're going around. No worries, man.
Welcome.
Yes, has anyone got any weekend trips, week trips, couple of weeks?
Who's going to Cape York?
Months, Cape York, Gibb River, Fraser?
Yeah.
He's going, yeah, he's going now, he's walking away. There you go, we'll see you up there. Did anyone have any questions about anything? What's up, buddy, what do you got? Is that car, the Y62, the child? Yeah, at the Lotus stand? Yeah, that's ours, yeah, that's our car over there, yeah. Yes, and the motorbike in front. Yeah, that's the KTM 500. Yeah, we travel around with that full time, so that's mine. Yeah, I've raced motorbikes for a while now, so we take it around. It's fully registered, so I get to go out and explore. And that some of the best days I've had is on the bike.
Not racing anymore, just cruising around, exploring, and having a good time.
Yeah. Was there any questions? Anything to do with cars, caravans, camping, anything? Someone's traveling somewhere, surely. No one?
You're all staying in Melbourne.
All right. What are you doing at a caravan camping show? You're not going to go anywhere. Where would we recommend? If you haven't done Cape York, you need to get that on the list, top of the list. That's probably our favourite place in Australia, or it is our favourite place in Australia. It's
such a special place for us as well.
Something about that. Something about the adventure going up there, especially if you do the telly track. Like it's pretty challenging now. Last year it was actually a pretty challenging track. It's just the adventure, the stories you make up there, and the memories is what you.
Yeah, and the sense of adventure.
Yeah, is what you're talking about for years. So Cape York, again, Gibb River Road's awesome. You know, Fraser on your top ones. You got to make sure you're sort of ticking
those popular spots.
Ticking them off.
Choosing them in the right time, so you're not there at the peak of school holidays and things like that.
Yeah, lock in the dates. Give yourself a couple of weeks, couple of months, and go up and enjoy those places. So. Right, is there anything you wanted to add? Anything at all?
I'm good, yeah, that was awesome. You covered our story. And
yeah, is there any more questions about anything? Yeah, what, buddy? Yeah, it's a good question, yeah. So was it a hard decision to stop racing motorbikes? And yeah, it was.
Even for me as well, it was hard to see him go through that decision.
Yeah,
and
it
something
was.
we decided together.
Yeah, something had to give. Like, yeah, we couldn't do what we're doing at the level we're doing at all the time, like the time, the money, all that sort of stuff. It was a very self-centered attention sport as well. Like all the money had to be spent on me and all this sort of stuff, and Mikayla went without things. So it was pretty full on. So for me, I was kind of ready for it as well. Like I kind of wasn't enjoying racing as much as I used to, because it was sort of becoming a bit of a chore as well.
Each weekend we were out practicing or training, and
But yeah, no, it was a good decision. So now, honestly, I enjoy riding bikes more than ever, just because it's just we go out, enjoy it whenever I want, and just chill out, see some amazing stuff. We've done a couple of races. We raced in Caravan. I raced at the start of the year and snapped my knee in half.
And actually did his ACL.
So I'm still limping around at the moment. But yeah, it's awesome having the bike. But yeah, it was definitely a tough decision.
Yeah,
that's a good question, man. Do you ride bikes? Mountain bikes, awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, so do we. Yeah, man. How do we go around Australia with the motorbike? So we got on the front of our caravan. I don't know if any of this footage will show. We've got mountain bikes on there at the moment. But yeah, we've got a custom-made bike rack that goes on the front of the van. So the bike goes on there. It's fully registered, so I can ride on the road, parks, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we simply have it on the front of the van, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Craig. Any chance of having a boat? Well, weight-wise, I can't.
We don't even have fishing rods.
Yeah, well, that's,
So-
yeah. We ditched the fishing rods, actually. I don't even really know how to tie a hook. That's pretty embarrassing saying that on the camera, but Mikayla would usually tie the hook for me.
I mean, we both enjoy fishing, but the
Yeah.
fish just wouldn't come to us. I don't know what we were doing wrong.
I don't know. We don't really eat fish. I've been getting some urges as to sort of put them back in and learn it and all that sort of stuff.
Going on a charter, I think, would be good for us.
Yeah.
But then the only thing is, with the dog, it's sort of hard to time all of that. And
Yeah, no real plans for have a boat though. But one day, if we end up in a bigger truck or something, then maybe if I start catching
if it
fish.
becomes a bigger hobby, maybe.
But yeah. Anything else anyone wanted to ask, Benny? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's been lots. Is there stuff that we originally had that we don't have anymore? Yep.
Yeah.
There's been lots of culling along the way.
It's probably not a mistake, but it's probably what people do overpack. You think you need more than what you need, especially like clothes. Like we weren't that bad. We're very minimal people anyway.
Usually every 6 months we'll just reassess. If you haven't used something in the last 6 to 12 months, it's going.
Yeah.
No point in carrying it around.
And it all adds up as weight, room as well. I know with kids as well, it's harder, but you see some people, they're just jammed packed full of like toys and all this and just a lot of gear. So I think it definitely, being very minimal, even with like cups, knives and forks, all that sort of stuff. Like
One each.
Just one each. Even our clothes, like we don't, especially if you're out where it's like you're in dirt all the time, like you find you're not really, you can
re-wear, if you're in a dirty, grubby environment, just wear the same clothes the next day.
you can sort of get
Save on your washing.
a few days out of some clothes. You pick one thing up and you're covered in dirt. So
Yeah.
I think, definitely, you can definitely overpack. Even saucepans, all that sort of stuff. People take everything and they end up taking that sort of stuff out, personal items and that as well. You sort of realise you don't really need. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's a good question. So anything else before we wrap it up?
Yes.
Sir down the back.
How do we go with the dog in the caravan parks? That's a good question. So,
You wanna take it?
yeah, absolutely. So a lot of caravan parks are dog friendly, and obviously there's some that aren't. And usually they're the really nicer sort of upper class caravan parks. So we do miss out on those. A lot of people who do travel with their dogs do choose to go into those caravan parks, and they'll pop their dog into like a pet resort or something like that. That's amazing. We just choose not to do that. I think it's more the anxiety on us leaving her with strangers in an unfamiliar place. But yeah, that's absolutely an option that.
A lot of it
people
depends
do.
on what your dog's like as well. Like George is at the back there sitting nice and chill. Like if you've got a dog that you can leave in the caravan, they're not going to chew the place to bits. It makes it a lot easier. We do see some people with dogs out there, they leave, it's barking going off, and it would definitely make it a bit more difficult. But
They're usually the little ones that like to yap a lot.
yeah, it kind of comes down to what your dog is like as well, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, with Georgia, it makes it mega easier. But use wiki camps, like that's an awesome free. No, it's not free. Was it $9-10
I think
something?
it's about $10. Well, it was $10 when we bought
Yeah.
it. Who knows how much it is now?
Something
but
like that.
It is so worth it.
Every single day we use that. Hip camp. We try and use way more hip camps now, so to get your own space, support people, their property. Really like hip camps. We use the petrol app. What's the petrol app called? Can't remember what it's called. Fuel Map Australia. That tells you where the servos are, gives you that live update prices, that sort of stuff. That's pretty much our main three. That's pretty much what we live our life off day to day is those three.
I know there's people out there who have tens of 20s of apps on their phone for all different things, but we just have those three, and that's how we find everything that we need to find.
Yeah, so keep it nice and simple, and you can just live day to day and just wing it. Yeah, another one. Yeah, national parks. It definitely does make it hard. Like staying overnight is a no-go for parents Australia-wide.
Yeah.
But depending which state you're in, it's different. Like Queensland's got quite a few parks where you can have them in your car, but don't let them out on the main roads.
Main roads.
Every state, Victoria's like every sort of state is different. But
We'd much rather have Georgia with us and miss out on those things than leave her behind with our parents and
yeah, but in saying
get
that,
to go to those things.
like Carragini in Western Australia, we had a caravan park, so she stayed in the aircon. We went out for a couple of hours, did the waterfalls, left her there, come back. So you always make it work. Give her a road, free camp just outside the national park bit, go in, do the waterfall in the morning while it's not before it's too hot, come back. So yeah, being able to leave them in there comfortably. That's one of the reasons why we've got a bigger battery system in our van as well. To be,
For the dog.
Yeah, for the dog, as sad as that is.
One of the reasons, not
one of the
the
reasons.
reason.
Yeah, just so it's, yeah, she's nice and safe, and we still can go do that. Go to the supermarket, go to dinner, go to whatever you want to do, and still not
And she's
miss out on those sort of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. You want to share a bit about our story? If you sort of want to know any more, you know, search Travelling Canvas on anything and you'll find us.
We'll be over at the Lotus stand as well at site 332. So if you have any more questions,
Yeah, our cars over there, our motorbikes over there. Come chat, say good day, ask any questions or whatever. Following our YouTube episode, the first episode we ever made to now, you can sort of tells our story. So it's pretty cool to see. We go back and watch them as well. So it's yeah. If you're going out to do some travels, make sure you do record it, take photos, start a channel, put up just for
your own memories.
For your own memories. So it's awesome to look back at. So thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing day, and hopefully we'll see you guys out on the road.
Thanks, guys.